Well, you can tell what makes a great coach is the ability to communicate to people in mass like this, or one at a time, or to an entire staff. And you really haven't experienced a rain delay in college baseball unless you've been on the road in a cramped setting where the teams had to sit around for 2.5 hours, and you're thinking, well, these kids just must be bored to tears. There's nothing to do. They're uncomfortable. To a man, when I would ask them about sitting around during a rain delay, they would tell me how much they enjoyed listening to our next speaker spin baseball stories, talk about baseball wisdom, and basically just implant a lot of baseball zen inside of them. And he worked for both of the coaches that we're hearing today. He worked for Norm from 1983 through 1988, part of a couple of College World Series, although I know Norm also gives him some credit for 1989, because although he had left for the Yankees before the 89 season, he coached the 88 fall season, so he kind of gets some credit for that as well. And I guess it's the first hire that Dave made after he was hired as the head coach at Arkansas, was to go to Dave Jorn. And they had such a great run together, 4 College World Series from 2002 through 2016. He also is the closest I've ever heard to somebody sounding exactly like John Wayne. So let's hear him. It is former Arkansas pitching coach and somebody that will always be paying attention to the Hogs no matter what. It's Dave Jorn.
Thank you, Phil. You know, if I had a script, I'd just tear it up right now. You just killed my speech. I had a couple different ways to go. I didn't really know which direction to take. I thought, is it going to be stories? Is it going to be joking? And, I'm not bad at stories, but joking, not so good. So I decided to go the serious route, because I know Dave is not going to toot his own horn. That's not in his makeup, not the guy that he is. Hall of Fame, that's some pretty good stuff right there. You got to be really good, which he is, and you got to win a lot, which he has and continues to do. So what goes into a person that can pull all that stuff off? Well, I wasn't going to go into it, but seeing as how you stole all my material, Norm, I'm going to have to call an audible here. There's a lot of characteristics that go into success. Successful people, they're hardworking, they're committed, blah, 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 all that stuff. But bottom line is, you got to be really good at what you do. You got to really love what you do. You got to be compassionate. You just got to really, it's not so much about you, it's like an unselfishness. It's more about the kids, and that's kind of how this guy has always been. The program has always been built on, wins and losses are great. We're all trying to get wins. That's what we work for. But ultimately, it's about developing the kid. You got 18-year-old kids coming into your program that don't know how to work. They don't know how to compete. They don't know how to do a lot of things. And the baseball program under his direction has always been one that's been geared toward like a blue-collar approach. There isn't anything that's, no one's special. Andrew Benintendi, as special a player as he was treated just like everyone else. The number 35 guy on the depth chart treated the same way. The expectations are still the same. Go out there, work, become a good citizen. Hopefully, we can help to train you into being a good parent in time. And that's kind of what it was all about. And we wound up getting some good talent. And with good coaching and good direction and good leadership, what Dave has provided for the program, you wind up getting wins and you wind up having quality people in your program. If you were to go into the dictionary and look up the definition of winner, and I did this yesterday, in fact, I looked it up, and all I could see when I opened that up, it said winner, and there was nothing but a picture of Dave Van Horn next to it for a definition. That's true. I mean, you know, everywhere the guy's been, he's won. I mean, he grows up in Kansas City. All he wants to do is go to Arkansas. You know, he wants to be a Razorback. Didn't get the opportunity, didn't grow up with a lot. You know, we have very similar backgrounds. You know, kind of lower middle class, got to work for everything. Nobody gives you anything. Kind of carry that over into life. He has to go to a junior college. Eventually, he winds up getting an opportunity to come here as a player. He performs well, goes into pro baseball, realizes that maybe he is not going to make it to the big leagues, but he does have a feel and a great instinct for the game of baseball, so he wants to go into coaching. So he comes back, and this is where we first met. You know, we're both still about the same age. I'm a few years older than him. And hey, this is like 1985, right? Somewhere in there. That's like 30-some years ago. We both looked a little better then. Me in particular, for sure, a lot better. But as an assistant, you know, and now he's an assistant coach at Arkansas. He plays at Arkansas. He's an assistant at Arkansas. He meets Karen. They get married in like 1987, and it's like, well, hey, I got to get a job. I got to make some money. He tells me, and I'm probably stealing some of your material, but that's okay. What goes around comes around here. He needs to get a job. And he tells me, hey, I'm going to leave. I'm going to go get a job. And I'm like, you're not going to get a job. You know, from purely selfish reasons now, understand. I didn't want him to leave. I knew how good he was and how much our program benefited from him. But the one thing I learned from that situation, never tell a competitor that he can't do something, because he's certainly going to show you that he can. And proof's in the pudding, right? He goes to the junior college route, wins. He goes to a Division II school, like Coach DeBryan said. He wins a national championship. He builds a Division I mid-major program in Louisiana, builds that program, goes to Nebraska. They don't even know how to play baseball in Nebraska. I mean, they're not even sure they have a baseball program. And he takes them to back-to-back College World Series. And then gets an opportunity to come here, and thank the Lord. He gave, you know, I called him to congratulate him on getting the job. I had been in pro ball for 13 years, and I'd had about enough of that. And he said, have you had enough? And I said, I have. He says, would you like to come and be my pitching coach? And I said, I would. And that's probably the best decision I'd ever made. But let's count them. We got 2 College World Series in the 80s as an assistant here, right? 2 College World Series, and we're not going to count that Division II, although we should, because that's huge. 2 College World Series appearances with Nebraska. And then what do we have? That's 4. We got 2004, 2009, 2012, 2015, 2018. That's 5 more, 9 times at the College World Series. It is not easy to get to the College World Series. Not easy. So I don't think I was really stretching it when you look up the definition of winner and you're going to see his face. I mean, it's right there, 9 times at the College World Series. So all in all, you know, I just want to close and get out of here and just say, hey, man, this is a great honor to a great guy, well-deserved, really happy for you.